What if the real solution to our most modern problems, like constant burnout, wasn't hiding in some new productivity app, but in a text that's 2,500 years old? Okay, let's get into this, because it turns out we might have just stumbled upon an ancient manual for surviving the universe.
You know that feeling of being completely and utterly exhausted, like you're just out of juice for no good reason? Well, you're not just tired. You're actually experiencing, on a personal level, a fundamental, inescapable law of the cosmos.
And that law has a name. It's called entropy. It's a core principle of thermodynamics, and it basically just says that everything, from giant stars to you and me, is always moving from a state of order toward disorder. It's literally the universe's own version of burning out.
Now, entropy is going to happen. There's no stopping it. But our modern lives, with the constant competition, the notifications buzzing 24/7, the pressure to just do more, it really seems like we've put this whole process on hyperdrive. But what if there was a way to slow it down, to push back against this cosmic exhaustion? Well, the answer, pretty amazingly, isn't in the future. It's deep in our past.
This right here is Chapter 3 of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. Now, if you just read it, it seems like a bizarre riddle. It's a set of instructions that seems to go against everything our society tells us is important. Ambition, knowledge, desire.
I mean, listen to that. To our modern ears, it just sounds, wrong, doesn't it? Empty their minds? Weaken their ambitions? That sounds like a recipe for failure, not for a happy life or a functioning society. It's totally counterintuitive.
So here's the wild idea that kind of changes everything. What if we've been reading this all wrong? What if we try looking at this ancient text not as abstract philosophy, but as a practical guide to physics, a manual for cutting down on the cosmic friction that causes us to burn out?
All right, let's start cracking the code. Our very first clue connects Lao Tzu's advice about society directly to a core idea in thermodynamics. So check out this parallel. On the left, Lao Tzu is warning us not to put the gifted on some crazy pedestal. And on the right, physics tells us that when you create these artificial energy gradients, you get chaos. They're describing the exact same thing. When we make status or wealth artificially valuable, we create a really steep social hill. And what happens? Everyone scrambles to climb it, which generates a ton of social friction. Competition, envy, conflict. We're literally burning up our precious cosmic energy fighting each other to get to the top. Okay, so this brings us to what is probably Lao Tzu's most profound and, honestly, most misunderstood instruction. What in the world does it really mean to empty the mind? This has nothing to do with being ignorant. It's actually a physical command. In physics, every system has what's called a ground state. It's the system's most stable, lowest energy setting. Think of it like the quantum vacuum. It looks empty, but it actually holds the infinite potential for, everything. Lao Tzu's instruction to empty the mind is really a command to get our consciousness back to that state of ultimate stability, to get back to our cosmic recharge station. And this is so important. That phrase, keeping them innocent of knowledge, isn't about promoting ignorance, not at all. It's about protecting ourselves from informational overload. Because as it turns out, information itself has its own kind of entropy.
Information entropy is really just a fancy term for informational messiness. The more complex and unpredictable something is, the more data you need to describe it, which means it has higher entropy.
This slide is the perfect example. On the left, you've got that chaotic, cluttered desk. Think about how much information you would need to describe exactly where every single thing is. That's high information entropy. Now look at the clean desk on the right. Simple. You can describe its state in just a few words. That's low entropy.
And this is exactly what Lao Tzu was getting at. That constant hum of our own cleverness, our desires, that non-stop urge to control and calculate every little thing, it's all just informational noise. It jacks up our internal entropy, and it causes our systems to overheat and burn out. The goal is to just quiet that noise.
Okay, so if the goal is to stop creating all this social friction and to quiet our internal noise, what are we supposed to do? How should we act? Well, Lao Tzu gives us the answer in what you could basically call a master algorithm for a frictionless, super energy-efficient life.
It's called Wu Wei. Now, this gets mistranslated all the time as doing nothing, but that is completely wrong. It really means effortless action or non-forced action. It's all about acting in perfect alignment with the way the universe already works.
And this slide just says it all.
The image on the left, that's forced action. That's us pushing a boulder uphill. It's a struggle, it's full of friction, it's a huge waste of energy. But on the right, you have wu wei, effortless action. Floating down a river, you align with the current and you let the universe do the heavy lifting for you. And this is literally a law of physics. It's called the principle of least action. And that is the ultimate takeaway here. When we practice wu wei, we're not giving up. We're just surrendering our limited egos to the huge, self-regulating harmony of the cosmos. We stop fighting the current, and when we do that, we stop creating the very friction that causes us to burn out in the first place.
So let's just put it all together. What we've just decoded is basically a cosmic operating system for a more peaceful, efficient life. 1. Stop creating social friction. 2. Return your mind to its stable ground state. 3. Reduce all that informational noise. And 4. Act with effortless action.
This ancient text, when you read it through the lens of modern physics, becomes a profound guide to a more stable, energy-efficient way of being. So the final question really isn't for Laozi, it's for you. In a world that is constantly screaming for more, what informational noise can you turn off today to reduce your own cosmic burnout?